Hello. Well, welcome to the second of our live streams. Here today with Daniel Jones, um, currently level 7 student at Wrexham Glendale University. So Dan, if you want to do a quick intro about yourself, and then what we'll do is jump straight into you sketching and drawing and showing us what you can do.
Okay.
Okay.
So, hi everyone, I'm Dan, and I'm both a portrait artist and environment artist. While I'm more of a personal portrait artist, and in my own time, and in a so I do environment artist art with Unreal Engine for games, and on my art station, you'll be able to see some of my artwork up there. Same with my Instagram, which all my portrait art and my environment art will be located on there. Artworks by DJ. So I'm an NDES student now, close to the end of the year, for which, now I'm focusing on my final project. But as for this Twitch stream, I'm doing what I get up to in my spare time, which is the portrait art using Copic markers. It's a commission business that I do to make extra money of. And yeah.
So what we'll do, Dan, is as we go along now, we'll switch over screens in a minute straight to your sketching and drawing. What is it you're going to draw for us today?
I'm drawing the character of Sub-Zero from the upcoming Mortal Kombat film, as it's a good way of for artists, especially portrait artists on Instagram, to trend a bit.
Okay.
And so I'm a bit of a Mortal Kombat fan as well. So
great. So it's quite topical at the moment. So what we'll do is we'll jump straight into it. So while people are watching the stream, do feel free to also jump onto Instagram. Dan's Instagram is artworks _by _DJ. And our art station, it's Daniel PH Jones. So certainly check those out. We'll switch over now to share your screen, and then we can see what it is you're going to be doing, and also we'll have a quick look at some of the other works that you've been doing as well. Okay. All right. So now we've got on the screen is your sketches Sub-Zero. So I'm just gonna. Okay. So what we'll do is we'll open it up to the messenger as well. So if people do have sort of questions, fire those questions away straight through, and I'll ask Dan as he's drawing, just to see, and we can hopefully be able to answer those questions as well. I'll also throw in some questions that I've got for you too, Dan. The first one, you've obviously already started sketching out Sub-Zero there.
Yeah.
So before we do crack on and continue on with that, do you want to just put underneath on your camera there some of the stuff that you've worked on in the past, so people can get an idea of what this will look like once it's finished? Because obviously we're not going to be able to get through this completely today.
Yeah.
Because these do take quite some time.
Yeah, it's probably my camera quality. Well, the webcam quality is not very good. So I'll just show it on the over here from the phone's perspective. Yeah. So over the years, following from trends such as films, games, or whether political things, I've been drawing portraits from them. I even visit Comic Cons as a way to meet celebrities, to get them to sign. And over here is an example of Matt Ryan, from the man who plays Constantine, and he's the one who voiced the assassin from Black Flag. So it's a good way of
it's a good way of getting your artwork seen as well, especially with the actors the actors and voice artists signing that work as well. We just had a comment on the chat from Kiss My Artichoke saying, "Hi, just followed on Insta. Your work is epic." So
thank you, Kiss My Artichoke.
There you go.
And so it feels pretty special to see the celebrities compliment the artworks as well. Yeah,
because you had a comment off Michael Rooker as well, didn't you? When he signed your artwork.
Oh, that dude, yeah. Yeah, he was. He's quite a joker. Yeah, he
Mhm.
was like, he pulled out like a scrap piece of paper and just like scribbling. This is how you do art. Let me. Sorry, I'll get to it. Where his drawing is. Yeah, and hopefully, if COVID's okay later on in the year, I'm thinking of doing it again. So, yeah, with a
So,
couple of actors that I know.
so,
Yeah,
so the next Comic Con.
yeah,
So
in
we just
Telford coming up this November or December, somewhere there.
so we've just had a comment in the chat of asking about linking to your Instagram. So I'm just putting I'll put that in the chat
Okay.
now, so that's in there for you.
Yep.
So we'll you do have an Etsy as well, don't you, where you sell some of this work? Because I know Christmas you were doing Christmas cards from It's a Wonderful Life.
Yep.
Um, didn't one of those sell? Some of them sell in America as well.
Yeah, one person from Los Angeles. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, felt cool.
Okay, so have we got to the Michael Rooker picture yet? I'm interested for
Yeah,
everyone
I
to
think.
see. So those who don't, just a quick one. Michael Rooker
think
is Yondu from uh, Guardians of the Galaxy. You've
yep.
also I just noticed there you've got It's a Wonderful Life picture there that you used for your Christmas cards too.
Yep. This one.
Yeah.
Sorry
Okay.
if I just put it
So
this way.
these are pretty much these are all sort of hand drawn markers. How long would something like this take you to draw or to create?
Just as much as I would say sketching or less time because they're pretty much they blend like very well. Yeah. So they blend very well and they pretty much like when I say blend very well, like the different shaders and yeah, it feels like painting, but of course just on a pen.
Yeah.
So but you got to be there are certain things to be very careful with it as well, where it
Okay.
doesn't make it an easy trip. So the Han Solo drawing. Sorry, I'm trying to find where the Michael
So it's
Rooker
okay.
thing
Just
is.
if when you get to it, it'll be fine. Um,
You can see it on my Instagram
yeah.
if
So
it's not
it's on
everywhere.
Instagram if everyone wants to check that out.
Yeah,
So let's jump straight into you sketching out Sub Zero then. So I'll be interested to see when this is complete. So
yeah.
what was your process to get to this point?
Uh, my process. Yeah. So pretty much I had to use the gridding system, which is very useful. Basically, it's a way of pointing out what certain areas I can draw, such as the eyes, the mask. Yeah, it took a very long time, and since the trailer came out, I wanted to instantly do a drawing because of my fandom for Mortal Kombat. So
Yeah.
pretty much, yeah.
Okay.
And so as soon as I you offered me to do this on stream, I thought it was best to quickly as possible get this drawing done
Yeah.
so I can because if I do the sketching, I can just instantly get to the markers because people would be more interested to see that process.
Uh-huh.
It's very important too to get like the drawing done very lightly
Yeah.
because with the markers, yeah, if you do like if too much lead goes into the markers, it's going to damage them. So yeah,
Okay.
so it's important now to keep it a little
Uh-huh.
lighter, rub certain areas off,
Yeah.
and yeah. So and now I'm at the stage where I can just do the markers for free. So what for free? What I'm saying, like you know, without worrying the
Yeah.
penciling.
Yeah. So top tip there for anybody who is considering um, using markers in the future to just for their artwork is making sure that you don't get too much pencil on your canvas or your sheet of paper. So we've got a couple of things. We've noticed the chat. We've sort of neglected the chat a little bit. So after we've
Sorry, guys.
posted there, we've had a few comments saying incredible. Funkatron's put sick art. We've got Kiss My Archokes put assassins with their heart smiley face. Shagsy 101, Mary Poppins, y'all. That was obviously from the Yondu comment.
Yeah,
CAA Silversmith, these are awesome. We've also
thank
got
you very much.
Shagsy 101 said that Hellboy looked like a photo. It was done that well. It was that well done. And then Kiss Me That Joke again. Sub-Zero is my absolute favourite character from MK. These drawings are phenomenal.
Thank you.
So I'm just gonna jump back a little bit. You said something about gridding method.
Yep.
So what is a gridding method for those out there who have just sort of starting out sketching?
Yeah, it's just a much better way of making sure you just get the drawing all together. Well, to make it more accurate, you could say. So, so basically, say like you look at a specific square. So say like I go on Photoshop and I use the gridding system like for the reference photo going across. And so basically, it's a much better way of like telling. So like I look at the reference photo. So that eye, this eye is basically that square. And so
Okay.
basically that makes it a lot easier. It also like, you know, tell where this what the spaces are, what they're going to be, and it just makes it a lot easier. It's
So
a nightmare without the gridding
uh-huh.
system to find it.
So in a nutshell, what you're doing is you're matching up grid from a smaller photograph to a larger grid. So whatever's in that grid on the photograph, it has to be in the grid in the bigger photograph.
Yeah, it's just well, I used to do it on smaller photographs, but I use Photoshop because it's more useful in a way. I had to use the measurements in Photoshop as well to tell me the centimeters to kind of rule it out. Yeah.
Okay.
So like on Photoshop, I see what the squares on each, you know, the gridding measurements are, so I can yeah, so it can tell me like where to draw.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. So what are you
Hope
going
that
to do?
makes sense.
Yeah, well, absolutely. What are you going to do next? Are you now moving on to markers, or have you still got
Yeah,
more sketching to do?
yeah. Moving on to the markers. There are the sketching's not finished, but I feel like I can just move on to the markers. It's just like this side of the mask that needs finishing on, and but I can just get onto the markers on certain areas like the face. I was thinking, and especially the eyes. The eyes is always something I look forward to when it comes to the drawing. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so we can get into it. Anyone can ask any questions whilst I'm at it.
Yeah. So in the chat, we'll jump back into the chat. So as you're drawing now, what I will do is I'll just fire the odd question to you. So
Yep.
okay.
Okay, starting with the eye.
So I've got a couple of questions for you before we jump to anybody posting in the chat. Is you are a student at Wrexham Glendale University. So how did you initially find out about the course?
It was recommended, yeah. My parents came forth with a paper, forgot what it was, but it was like a promotional sort of thing. I don't know if it was the first time that Glendale was coming out with the game art course, but I saw it on a paper. And
Okay.
back in school, I was obsessed with drawing creatures and characters from scratch. And so as soon as I seen a course that pretty much said that it offers you to do that to, you know, eventually make a living off doing it, I wanted to. It was back in 2014, so it became my motivation to join the course, get the grades, and develop my portfolio. Until eventually, as soon as I started in Glendore and got into the 3D modeling, I decided to do that instead. But I still didn't lose my touch with the artwork, like the hand drawn artwork, because it led me to this. Because I started to realize I was good at copying, well, life drawing, I'd say, and stuff like this.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think the career that you are going into is an environment artist. And for
Yeah.
those joining us now, in terms of environment art, when it comes to video games, it's basically what you're running around in. It's the art, it's the buildings, it's the streets and things like that. And if you check out Dan's Instagram account, there's some of the absolute phenomenal pieces of work in there that have been created in 3D to a point where you wouldn't actually be able to tell a difference between what's real and what's 3D. And then that's the future of the game industry. It's going that way. We've got a quick one. Funkatron has asked, are those Copic markers? Copic
Yes.
markers?
Oh, yeah. Sorry, should have been
Yeah.
explaining them. Yeah, they're very good. Yeah,
So
blend.
are they the markers that you would recommend?
Yeah, definitely. They can be expensive more than others, but I guess it just well, they're just what I use on a mainly. If you want to experiment yourself with some markers, I'd recommend just get yourself some like singular ones or like ones that aren't this size. Yeah, that's what I used to do. I used to start markers by doing like DT in school, like making products using them. That's how I was introduced and how much I ended up loving them. Yeah.
Okay. So, just going back to what you said about that you're really good at copying things,
Mm-hmm.
and I think that is a trait that you really need for this kind of thing, and also for
Yeah.
an environment art as well. You know, it's been able to mimic real life in a three-dimensional space, and then allowing people to interact with that space through video games and whatever else.
Yeah.
So it's really good. Another question from me in terms of what have been the highlights studying at Glendale University?
Definitely just learning everything like the softwares, the tools, and so like learning the 3D modeling, and basically it's like you know just pushing, just working really hard on the
Mm-hmm.
well, yeah, sorry, kind of getting caught up. Yeah, so basically it's just learning softwares, which basically just led me to wanting to do it. So it's basically just sorry, not good talker. So
Yeah, so, I mean, the thing is, Dan, you're doing a great job because, I mean,
yeah,
sometimes sketching and concentrating on creating a realistic eye and an answer, and then being bombarded
yeah,
with questions from people, and
yeah,
being filmed as well.
yeah,
The whole process is it could be probably quite daunting, I suppose.
yeah.
Um,
Sorry, that's my answer at the end of the day. What I really liked was bringing, like, in the realism, bringing certain things to life. That's something that I've realized that was my art style. So basically, it's basically improving my work to a point where it becomes so realistic that it can end up getting me a job. I just enjoy learning that process. Yeah.
Absolutely. I mean, we've got another question from the chat there from Kiss My Artichoke. Do you ever paint?
I used to, but I didn't like it.
No, not a big
I
fan of
found
painting.
no, oil painting for me used to be a
Mm-hmm.
nightmare. Maybe it takes some practice, but yeah,
Okay.
personally, I just prefer the markers. Yeah.
All right. So in terms of drawing, what made you get into drawing in the first place? You know, obviously you've been doing this for a long time, so.
Yeah. It just started from a place where I still have. It's just like drawing characters that I liked. So back in school, it was just drawing SpongeBob, Sonic, and all that, and I just kept going. Everyone complimented me for like the drawings I did, so that's what kept me pushing to creating more
Mhm.
artwork. Yeah. So it's just basically the more people praised it, the more I just wanted to do more of it, and plus it was just enjoyable. So
Mhm.
yeah.
Cool. So you mentioned there Sonic and SpongeBob and things. So do you remember the
Yeah.
first thing that you created or drew, or should I say the first thing that you did that was realistic to the point where you would have put it into the famous blue skit folder?
It used to be it all started in 2017.
Hmm. Okay.
Oddly enough, yeah, it was just oh well, I guess I did do a Captain America drawing like ages ago when I was in year 8. Just wanted
Hmm.
to make it look realistic, and so I kept doing it. But in 2017, when I was done with everything like A level arts, being creative and all, I decided to just and I started seeing a bunch of Instagram artists doing realistic things. I wanted to join into that, and so and then Marcus was coming into my life, so that's what really led me down. Yeah, it was I guess it was that it drawing I did back in 2017 that that made me want to do it, and it was part of my Inktober. Yeah,
I think that
yeah.
picture is actually on the wall in the Creative Industries building at Glendale University. I think it's still pinned up there on the concept art wall. So we've got a question there. Have you ever tried from Funkatron? Have you ever tried to transfer your photorealism into digital form, or do you work solely with traditional media?
Oh, like so. Using Photoshop for a
Yeah, so
digital.
possibly like a Wacom tablet or Cintiq.
Yeah, I only did it once, but with Venom. You can check it on my Instagram, but I keep saying to myself I should do that, but I haven't yet. But I haven't yet. I have plans to do it later, but I just I guess so many commissions kept coming along that I
Mhm.
decided to oh well, just let markers be the main thing. But yeah, it's basically a thing I still say that I'll keep doing, but yeah, yeah, I think I'll do it at some point this summer after my final assignment is done. My next drawing is basically now just gonna keep keep doing digital stuff. Yeah,
Okay, cool.
but it's basically the core. Yeah, the markers. Yeah, well, the main thing that I do. Yeah.
So, thanks for the follow, Watermelon86. They put hello artist, and also they've given me a piece of advice for the stream channel. We are still fairly new to this, so any advice is much appreciated. So I will take that on board. So it says one advice: remove the must follow before chat. So I will do that in it shortly if I can do that while you're drawing away, and then. Shagsy 101 has put, do you have a favourite style of 3D environment art to draw, i.e., urban, woodland, space, etc.?
Uh, it would be history, pretty much like certain things in history. Like I did uh, the barn house from the American West, the Viking Hall. It's basically I took inspiration from like Ubisoft games like Assassin's Creed, and it's amazing to see all this immersive environment of history, and so I was inspired by that, and so I decided to put that as my favorite. Like so historical eras, yeah. And I was thinking of trying to do some of my own in different, like different eras. And mythology is also one what I haven't exactly done yet, but it's a dream. Like basically, one that tells a story that is something I want to do as well as a style.
Yeah, because I think
But for the moment, it's historical. Yeah,
your current project, you're actually recreating a sort of World
yeah,
War Two
yeah,
um, French sort of encampment around a church,
yeah.
which is
Can't wait
quite
to
interesting.
see. Yeah, can't wait to show you what I've done of that so far. Some point because yeah, gotten
Yeah, we
far to
certainly got that.
yeah. I also do props as well, like 3D props to make sure they're detailed. Like I've done an MK stand that looks pretty good so far. So, anyway, I'm going off topic. Yeah.
No, no, absolutely. It's feel free to go off topic. All.
It's not just environment art, but it's also like
Mhm.
in general trying to do props as well to make sure, yeah, to make sure that yeah, you could say that's in
So
the category.
there's a couple more comments coming in. Watermelon 86, you put, you show other streamer. Does that, I'm not sure what you mean by that, but if you feel free to stick it in the chat there. And then Shagsy 101, the barn reminded me of Red Dead, to be fair. I think the barn, how long ago did you do that? That was like one of the first environments that you did.
Yeah, I think that was
That was,
2019. Yeah,
yeah, so it was a good few years ago. You were probably sort of second year, I think it was. It was
yeah,
for your specialist area. Um, and since then, you've obviously had a couple of years because you've done a moon landing module. You've done. I'm trying to think now. You've sort of done a Mead Hall
yeah,
as a Viking theme. So
yeah,
you've done these things when you see these on the on Dan's Instagram. These are actually maps that you can run around within on a PlayStation, Xbox, PC, whatever it would be. So you can interact with them, and you did a post-apocalyptic um, gas station as well, didn't you?
Yeah.
And one thing, I suppose, one of the things that I see when I'm obviously looking at the work that you produce is the influences that you have, and who you're influenced by in terms of industry professionals or artists out there, like John Lautner, the architect and things. So,
Yeah.
who would you say was your biggest influence?
In terms of the 3D stuff, uh,
Either the sketching or the 3D stuff.
yeah, it's all different. Like I have favorite 3D artists, and
Mm-hmm.
I have favorite they're everywhere, like on Instagram, like a realistic artist. But there was this Instagram artist I was looking at called Taganley Draws, who did coping markers, and I reckon I wanted to follow that sort of same path. Yeah, and there are some of my favorites on well, you can look at my who I follow on ArtStation and see, but Jerry Steinengarner, like I think he's one of the most successful environment artists in the industry who I wanted to follow his footsteps.
Okay.
He makes amazing 3D assets and environments based off of his culture, which I guess is African. He says he was inspired by Black Panther types, and he's worked before on Assassin's Creed. And oh yeah, Assassin's Creed is like the main thing that inspired me the most, like especially Odyssey, which made me want to do environment art. So it's pretty much games that made me want to do like environment art in the first place.
Mm-hmm.
Just yeah.
I
And
think
then I ended up just looking at the artists after that.
great. So, that's amazing. If you were to advise someone who was trying to get into sketching, drawing, or environment art and stuff like that, is that something that you would advise them to do? Is go and have a look at other artists out there?
Yeah, definitely. And if you can, try and uh, find try and speak with them physically, or whether you text them. Like when I go to Comic-Con, I visit all of these artists and ask them how they do it. I show them my work, and they tell me what to do. And yeah, just they saw my art and they say I have potential. Just keep them going, keep them selling, and yeah, keep chatting with a bunch of them. Yeah, with like whether it be at conventions or even try to send them a message. I have a lot of people like messaging me, and so I also message a bunch of artists to ask for advice. And depending like what kind they are, like how popular they are, they can sometimes respond to you. Yeah.
Cool. So, that's we'll jump into the chat in a second and ask some questions, but just to carry that conversation on is one thing that when you go to conventions and stuff, it's asking those questions. I mean, some artists obviously they don't want to give away trade secrets or whatever else, but the art communities that I, especially on Twitch and things like that, I found have been really welcoming. The people are so open to answering questions and stuff, and I think that's something that should be celebrated for the art community, is that people help each other and you can ask questions.
Yeah.
One of the things that I wanted to get from this channel that was mentioned last time we did a stream was that we're lifting the veil on what it is that people do, because as educators and as sort of people marking the work and stuff, we don't see the amount of work that goes into what you produce. We just see a piece of work that's produced, and we may see it as it goes along and things like that, but obviously seeing it now live, and having that ability to ask you questions and stuff, it's great. I am going to jump into the chat there. So Watermelon86, yes, we do invite artists onto the channel. That what we've started this channel so that we can invite artists in to do Q&As, questions and answers, that sort of stuff. We'll also be looking at trying to do a bit of an art chat as well, where we invite various different artists in via the power of Zoom. To just converse about art, really, and share the sort of love for it. So another question, is it Scorpio? I think Shaggy's answered you there with Sub-Zero.
Yeah.
I think until we start getting a bit of blue in there, it can be okay.
Yeah.
And we've got I think that's Anonymous 629. The depth you create in your piece is amazing. Is this done through a process of layering, or do you approach it section by section?
Oh yeah, definitely loads of layering. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just in order to in order to blend. So basically, it's just like basically say like I do a mixture of dark and light together, it'll come out pretty well, but you don't want to overdo it, otherwise it's going to make it bleed more and ruin it. So it's about being careful of the amount of layering. Yeah. And as for and you'd also have to be I did say before, like be careful, try not to like brush the markers over the pencil. Well, uh, like that's why I'm careful to try and not shade the drawing so much with the pencil, otherwise it'll damage the markers. So yeah, it's all about being careful at that point.
Okay. And then
Yeah.
Watermelon 86 put that's great. I draw a little too. So what sort of stuff do you draw then, Watermelon? Um, and Funkatron, are the eyes the go-to starting point for you?
Yeah, definitely. They're the favorite areas for me to focus on when it comes to drawing, because I feel like to me it's just like drawing the eyes. For me is like the best starting point to make a realistic drawing. It's like pretty much if yeah, sorry. Yeah, so
Yeah,
it's
it's fine.
just
It's
basically
fine. No worries. So that's the go-to. The answer is that's the go-to point because the eyes
that's
are the
good.
window of the souls and all that sort of stuff, isn't it? So, I think and yeah, potentially getting those in
Yeah.
first is your starting point. I know
It's
whenever.
also yeah, it's like very common as well.
Hmm.
I've seen a bunch of artists who show tutorials do it as well.
Yeah,
It's just basically working their way in.
I suppose it gives you that point as well of
Yeah.
placement and things too, doesn't it? So,
Yeah, it's like
um,
they're the most don't know if this makes sense, but it's like in a way like the eyes are the most effective like part of the drawing if you
mhm.
do them right, of course. And as soon as you start from there, it'll give you like a sort of thing that's telling you that everywhere else has to be as realistic as the eyes, because usually in the drawing, like the eyes are the best parts, at least for mine. Yeah.
So I think Watermelon saying that they jealous that you've got Copic markers. Um, and then we've got another one from Anonymous. And Anonymous, I think that's how I'm supposed to say that. So please correct me if I'm wrong. What are the key things you think about when drawing eyes?
What are the key things?
Yeah. So what are the
Yeah.
main things that you're thinking about if you're drawing eyes?
It's just like start from I'd say start doing using like a light shade at first to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, it's like work inwards and then outwards. So say like I started with the dark one, and then I start expanding, like just sort of
Yeah.
expanding it all the way out.
Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah. So like it's like it almost becomes a spiral, and it's just spiraling out into the rest of the drawing.
Yeah.
All right. I noticed, yeah, obviously in your sort of huge sketchbook at the beginning there that you've got
Yeah.
a lot of MCU stuff. So
Yeah.
that's huge right now, isn't it? Obviously with Disney Plus and everything else kicking off and various
Yeah.
different movies and stuff. So is that giving you a whole load of extra things to draw now?
Oh yeah. Like usually there's like I said in the beginning, it's trends. Yeah, and
Mm-hmm.
I get told so many. I get told by many artists, yeah, it's important. Try in order for your work to sell more, try and stick to trends, and it did work for me. Like when Endgame, like Avengers Endgame was coming out, and
Mm-hmm.
uh, it was a big movie then, of course, and so I did the Captain America drawing, and it became like a thing that was being shared all over. And the best thing as well with the community on Instagram, like the art community, they basically share your work around. Like especially with Endgame trending, I had a bunch of fans also sharing my work, which is also good. So that's what I mean by trends. Yeah, it's like a way that your artwork gets shared, like vastly. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's key, isn't it? To getting yourself out there on social media.
Yeah.
Because this one thing I've been pestering you now that you've not done Twitch before. This is completely new to you, and I think,
Yeah.
like I say, lifting the veil on this sort of stuff. People want to see this, and people need, like getting tips and tricks and everything else from this. So I definitely think this is something that's in your future.
Yeah.
is actually, now that you've got the setup there, you've got your phone set up so that you can. You top down looking at the sketching, and you've got your webcam set up there. Nice little layout, and you're good to go on your Twitch stream. So I think, just as a show of hands in the chat, if you think Dan should get his own Twitch stream going and show more of this stuff, then please let us know. We have got another question from Shagsy101. What's the best reaction you've had to your drawings from a celebrity that you've shown that you have done of them?
Definitely Michael Rooker, I would say, because that whole because he's got a big personality, so it's like yeah, I can tell how much he's kind of complimenting my drawing, even though he's being sarcastic. Like when he was taking out a scrap piece of paper and just scribbling it, and he was like, "That's how you do a drawing." It kind of speaks more to me, like in being sarcastic, like being friendly with your fans, and yeah. And then he complimented it like normally later. Some of them are miserable, like some of the celebrities I met at Comic Cons.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. Oh, yeah. And thanks for the compliment of the Hellboy drawing. But Ron Pillman was kind of like, I don't know.
Wasn't too interested. Well, I suppose when you think, if you've been sat there all day being pestered by various different people, and
yeah,
it can be tiring, I suppose. We've
yeah.
got so Watermelon's asked, is this a drawing from your head or do you use a reference?
No, a reference. So at the moment, I'm looking into. So I'm looking at the Photoshop reference that I use. I can turn my phone to the reference. Yeah.
This is the famous last words. I'm just about to move my setup halfway through a live stream. Oh, here we go. There it
sorry,
is.
it's not proper. Sorry, it's just the thing is kind of.
So you can see the reference there on Photoshop. There's the grid as well, the famous grid method.
Yeah, yeah. Let me just take my phone off so you can see it properly.
Okay.
Yeah. Sorry, took a while to put the phone on, but I can just show it here. There we go. So
that's what we're going to see when this is finished.
Yeah. So I use the gridding system by going on to View. Just basically going on to View. Oh, sorry. Mm-hmm. And then just basically going on guide layout, and there's the gridding system. Yeah, getting it all into place. So it's like how you can see this eye is in that square,
yeah,
and that's how I was able to draw it in this area there. So like this square area. So making sure the guides are, the guides on my drawing is following, is exactly following as shown on Photoshop. Yeah.
And seeing this running Photoshop in a minute, we just had another question come in from Watermelon saying, how big is the grid that you use on Photoshop?
How big?
Yeah. What's your grid point? What's your grid settings?
Just basically, I think it's just like so it's like 8x6. It was, I guess it's just like in a way it's just like I basically set out my grid to a point where I think it's a good gridding, and then later on I basically measure using the centimeters on Photoshop to tell me the size in between. So yeah.
So that's because that's something else that you just asked there. So it depends on the picture, basically.
Yeah, it depends on the picture. So yeah, and afterwards, and I use basically these boxes. Like you'll see one there, that corner. I basically use them for the measurements.
Right.
base, so I can just like say how far is the picture from the edge. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Great. So I'm going to jump back into the chat because we've had quite a few,
Yep.
and I've sort of jumped back into because we try and keep the questions on that same topic. So I said I asked you the question of I said to you about getting your own live stream. Pretty much we've had quite a few yeses of you should definitely have your own sort of live stream. You are going to have to turn your camera back the way it was though because we've now sort of on an angle. So if you could turn
Sorry
it
for
back. Just turn it
that.
round the other
Backwards.
way.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, the way. Do you remember the original way you had it?
Yeah. Sorry. I think it's
It's just twisted. Otherwise, we're sort of we'll have to go onto the B right
okay.
back and twist it round.
Yeah. Is it working right now?
Rotate it a little bit. Clockwise.
Sorry about that. Sorry. Is it working now? Sorry, it's just
Yeah, you just need to rotate the camera a bit because your actual phone because it's.
oh, there we go.
There you go.
Is this it? Yeah.
That's it. That's the one. There
Apologies.
you go. No, that's right. So yeah, absolutely. I mean, I definitely think you should get this going up on Twitch. Now that you've got this set up, all you need is your layout and you're good to go.
Okay.
And then Anonymous has put yes and some InstaVids reels. So I think someone mentioned to me earlier today that when I was sort of promoting this talk that you asking if you ever did time lapse videos. Is that something that you've ever done? A time lapse video?
Yeah, I did attempt it. Yeah, with this Kratos drawing, I did, but yeah.
Did that?
I feel like I didn't have the equipment yet to do it, so I feel like in a way I'd rather do time lapse videos than Twitch because you probably have seen that I struggled with my talking as I went along. So yeah, in a way,
I mean that's something that we worked together with anyway about building confidence and being able to speak in public and stuff. It's not an easy thing to do, and it is something that you learn. And that will build over time. I mean, I've seen so many Twitch streams where people don't even speak; they might just answer the odd question that comes through on the chat. So you don't necessarily, have to be that person who's constantly talking and about what they're doing, I suppose. And that, I think over time it will come. So let's just go back quickly to the chat. Shagsy said that guy is nuts. He threw chocolate at me at Comic Con. Lol. I think we've just lost your phone there, Dan.
Oh, what?
We're now getting a picture of your dog.
Are we not?
If you need a couple of seconds, we can hit the B right back screen if you need to. And while you're doing that, there you go.
I think it's the lead not plugged in properly. So okay. There we go.
There you go.
Apologies again.
All right. Technical issues is where we thrive. It wouldn't be a live stream if we didn't have technical issues. So we've got. So I'm assuming Shagsy put there about the guy threw chocolate at him at Comic Con is talking about Ron Perlman, the infamous sort of grumpy celebrity when he showed him your artwork. And then you've got. Shagsy's also put you should do a YouTube series as a time lapse of your artwork. Okay.
Yeah, I was definitely considering that, and using like Premiere Pro to basically do it, and yeah,
absolutely. Just edit it together, and then you've got Watermelon 86 is also put. That's nice. How big? Oh, we've answered that question. How big the grid? We've got. I'm just going back over. Sorry, I do apologise. Anyone else lost sound, or is it just me? If anyone else has lost sound, then please let us know. And then Funkatron's put that's a cool idea. I'm assuming you mean the grid method because we're still going. We're trying to catch up with chat. Watermelon 86. It depends on the picture. We've answered that as well. Watermelon 86. So sorry. I broke your stream. No, it's absolutely fine. It's kind of like again, this is all about lifting the veil, isn't it, and showing what it is we can do or how we do things. And then Watermelon's also asked, how much time does it take to draw the sketch? And what are your expectations on how much time you will need?
I would say definitely like over a month or so.
Exactly. So it takes
Even
a
if
month
I
to do one
say,
piece.
oh well, it could be under well into. Oh, you mean hour? Like if I was to combine all the time that was put, or I would definitely say for an A3 drawing like this, it would take around say 12 hours and all of that. But like in general, if I have time to say including spare time, it would take like over a month and that I would say.
So because this is
Depend
something
like
that you do sort of in your spare time, isn't it? It's not something. But if
yeah,
you were to
spare
do,
time.
if you were to sit down now and with a commission, and someone says, right, I'm going to pay you this much money to create this, and I want you to work on this and nothing else, how long would you think it would take then?
Oh, definitely less. Yeah, just like uh yeah, it's very important to not keep them waiting.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, yeah, it would look
Yeah,
bad for your
absolutely.
business. So yeah, even at nights, I would even try and complete them. So I can, yeah, but most of the time, it's like spent on doing my environment art and practicing as I go along uh, with it.
And
Yeah,
then,
but yeah, sorry.
okay, trying to catch up with the chat. We've got Funkatron. It's hard to talk and draw, also, especially when you're concentrating.
Yeah,
Um, and then he's put Doggo. Or they've put Doggo. Oh, yeah, you've lost your camera again. We've got another
okay.
Doggo. There you go.
Oh, silly me.
And then Shaggy's put that's a good drawing of your dog. Um, oh no, Michael Brooker. And then we've got CA Silversmith's put, yep, difficult to talk while concentrating on something else. You're doing a great job.
Thank you.
Um, Anonymous has put, do you ever use a grid to make your work larger or smaller than the image you're using? Or would you change the size of the image instead? So while you're fixing that, Dan, I think I can answer that. When I first seen Dan was doing these, when he came in to the building one day, he literally sat on the train drawing these things, and it was the size of his phone. So he literally just got the picture on his phone, and he was
Yeah.
drawing this at A4 size. So yeah, and then he makes them into A3 as well. So they do go from phone size right up to A3 size. So
Yeah. So it's so yeah, it's just usually A4, A3 for me. And so
it's
basically,
it's gone again.
and
We've got a dog.
sorry, I think it's just the charger lead is so bad. There you go. And it keeps the charger lead so
So yeah,
bad that
so when you come to do your time lapses, or if you do eventually do a live stream, you do need either a good charge lead or a webcam
uh,
or some form of
do you know what? I
camera.
might go find a better one. If that's okay.
What we'll do is we'll hit the be right back screen, and then
Apologies to everyone. Yeah.
and we'll come back to you in a second when we sorted this out. Bear with us a second.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, we're back. We have a new charger. There we go.
Yeah, sorry, the one I used to have was a bit wonky, so here we go.
Yes, so Shagsy 101, it's Sub-Zero's fault he's freezing the feed. And we've got a new follower as well. Anonymous 629 has given us a follow, so thank you very much for that follow. I have put a couple of messages in the chat as well, saying feel free to keep asking the questions while we work through technical issues. And also, I've been playing about with Twitch and obviously OBS over the last couple of weeks. Since we decided to start doing this, and I made some new follower animations, and every time it goes off, it makes me jump. So yeah, I do lift out my chair. So obviously, if you've got any sort of feedback or tips for the Twitch stream, sort of the layouts, anything like that, do feel free to let us know, and I will make those adjustments. So Shagsy put you should have done Raiden.
Oh yeah, he's my favourite character. Yeah. So probably.
So yeah, absolutely. So I've got a few more questions as well. I think we've asked you about what age did you start drawing, and that was kind of like school time, wasn't it? Things.
Yeah, about like 5 years old and stuff like that. I think, yeah, so I started drawing SpongeBob, Sonic, and eventually when I got into primary school, I was doing a bunch of Batman's villains because I was getting invested with Batman at the time. So, yeah.
Cool. Well, Watermelon's asked got a question about the camera, your face cam. The picture on your background, the red one on the wall, is that a Star Wars picture?
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
And I got a bunch of like Assassin's Creed posters on top as well.
Okay. Cool. And then we've got Skate for All Dane. I do apologise. I know I've said that wrong because we spoke to you last week. So people do go and check out Rebecca's feed from last week when we were talking about comic art and things. The new flames are cool. Thank you very much. And Shagsy101, is there anything that you find hard to draw?
I guess it's like depending on something that's very detailed. Say like well, let's say there are some parts of the mask that are very like specific. I guess it's like the thin areas with Copic markers. It's kind of hard to do. So it's like say for example, Sub-Zero had like a bunch of patterns on his mask here, like some sort of Asian sort of patterns, and that are very thin, like very thin lines. Anything that's like so small but detailed, like in a reference photo, that's going to be hard for the markers to pick up. So yeah, because they tend to bleed well more than pencils. Yeah, so it's just like very small detailed areas on whatever it is I'm drawing.
Okay. Watermelon 86 has put noise. I'm assuming that's have we got an issue with noise on our feed, or is that something else? And then how long do you draw? Basically, that was my next question. Actually, how often do you draw?
Just like I would say like about the evenings. I would say usually it's in the evenings. Sometimes about 2 nights a week I do it.
How many hours would you say? So in two nights, would you say that you just did like an hour, or would you say that it was like 5 hours, or is that something?
Yeah,
like...
5 hours somewhere there. Yeah.
So 5 hours. So about 10 hours a week.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was dedicated. I'm more dedicated into doing my 3D art stuff since it's all about being competitive, trying to get a job and everything. But in a way, the drawing is more of a passion thing to do as well. I can make extra money off, but my mindset's like doing the 3D work so I could get a job eventually. Yeah,
absolutely. So, that's. I mean, I'm always going to ask that question: how often do you draw? Because we get so many students, so many people sort of asking, or saying, "Oh, I can't draw." and it's then I always say, well, how often do you draw? And they're like, well, never, I never draw. And it's like, well, you're never going to get better unless you draw. So it is very much a sort of,
Yeah,
draw, then draw some more. Um, Shagsy 101's put in, love the new Sub-Zero mask, so much more detailed compared to the last film's masks.
yeah.
Um,
I like the 90s Mortal Kombat. Oh yeah, for sure. I love how these costumes are more like detailed and well, surprisingly accurate, I would say. So,
Watermelon, I do apologise. I am new to streaming. I'm not down with the sort of lingo. That noise was being for the Star Wars art behind, and then the question. We asked this question earlier on. When did you start drawing? I think you said you were about 5 years old, didn't you?
yeah.
And the first drawing, we would say it was like SpongeBob, Sonic the Hedgehog, things like that. But the first realistic drawing um, was your Pennywise.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, definitely that.
Okay. Um, uh, I mean, the questions I've got on my list is what are you working on at the moment? And we know that it's Sub-Zero. I noticed yesterday when we were talking about this stream and setting things up that you were also working on a Spider-Man as well. Is that
Yeah.
something that is that one of them that you're just jumping back into with, or is that something that you've sort of put to one side for now?
Yeah, something I've put to one side for now, I would
Okay.
say. Well, it was like I started that drawing years ago, and I feel like one area has been messed up, so that's why
Okay.
I decided to stop it. But I
Well,
might
that
go back to doing it. Yeah,
there is a new Spider-Man film coming out at the end of the year, so maybe we'll get
yeah,
a new Spider-Man.
yeah. Or if the next Spider-Man game that's coming out, I'll do it because the one I was drawing was the PS4 one. Yeah.
Okay. And I've got a couple of messages coming through on my phone as well, saying how articulate you are, Dan, and you're super talented as well. So
Oh, thank you.
certainly take that on board. Watermelon, I appreciate that. I will certainly probably take you up. Well, I more than likely will take you up on that, and we will be looking into setting up a Discord and things like that as well, and joining on Discord. So yeah, thank you very much. All right, so um, I'm just gonna. I've got a few questions that we've sort of already answered in terms of you being a traditional artist or a digital artist, and I think that question I ask, if you are you a traditional artist or a digital artist, I think that's a bit of both, isn't it, Dan? I mean, in terms of
Yeah, it is both.
you
Yeah,
do
just
you very much not in the sense of possibly digital painting, but more in the sense of you traditional artist when it comes to markers, but then it's digital when it
yeah,
comes to creating 3D
yeah.
environments and things like that.
Yeah, even when I'm doing digital, like using a Wacom, it doesn't feel any different. It's like I still, the way I have with the movement of my hands, like on a
Hmm.
Cintiq or a Wacom, it's just basically, I feel like I'm still doing the same thing. It's like doing layer on top of layer as well, like with Photoshop as well.
I think one of the difficult things to switch between traditional and digital is it's just
Yeah,
making sure that you're layering that eye right now in a traditional sense, but in Photoshop you've
yeah,
got to keep adding new layers constantly. Or you find yourself very stuck very quick. So, Watermelon question: what do you prefer, old school draw pen and pencil or digital art? So, yeah. So the question: which do you prefer, or basically old school sort of Copic markers or the digital art?
uh, pretty much both. Yeah,
You,
oddly
you
enough,
like, yeah.
but yeah, but why do I keep doing a marker as well? Because people seem to like it a lot. Yeah, it's like it's more common with
Hmm.
like digital art than it is with using markers, and so that's why I feel like I need to put them out a little bit more. Yeah, so I enjoy both of them on an equal level, but it's like people were more seem to be more invested,
Hmm.
like with the markers that I've shown to them at comic cons, galleries. Yeah,
Because yeah, I mean,
but
there's something quite sort of nice about having a traditional sort of hand drawn piece, isn't there, over a
yeah,
digital
true.
piece. I noticed when we were talking about this, and but before the days of COVID and stuff, and going to comic cons and selling your artwork and things like that, it's having those original pieces up for people to buy the original or giving people the option to buy a print, so it's still hand drawn, but it's not the original.
Yeah.
Okay, so watermelon, yeah, great. So you're more into old school pencil art. That's great.
Yeah. That's how many
Hmm.
you could say digital artists started out as. Yeah. I think
Yeah,
it's important they
absolutely.
don't lose it too.
Yeah. Hmm.
Yeah.
Absolutely, because that's something that we actively promote in to all our students, is that keeping a sketchbook, little moleskin sketchbook or little sea
Yeah.
white sketchbook, a coffee shop book, sketchbook I like to call it. You can use, you've even got the Brooklyn Art Library that does sketchbook
Yeah.
um, stuff as well. So, and just going, sitting somewhere, sitting on a park bench or on the bus, on the train, wherever it is, just whip out your sketchbook and just draw what's in front of you.
Yeah.
And I think, yeah, it's just keeping that, because I know, even though in game studios and stuff, they actually have in quite a lot of the studios is art sections where you can go and
Yeah.
paint with acrylics, or you can sketch, or um,
Yeah.
whatever your art
Yeah.
is, in order to keep your hand in, and making sure that you don't lose that skill. Funkatron, you can't beat a good old sketchbook. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Even now, even when I'm sort of in meetings and whatever else, it's kind of like I just sit there doodling, or
Yeah.
I've got a little sketchbook going.
Yeah. And even if you do traditional art and digital at the same time, like say if you went for a job that does digital, they're still
Hmm.
gonna like the stuff you've done in traditional.
Uh-huh.
It's like
Absolutely.
I've asked Ubisoft that when we were in a group chat with them, and yeah, they they're very invested in see what you've done in your own time, like the traditional art.
Hmm.
And I
Because
even asked and I
go on.
even asked some workers, yeah, like one worker, if it's possible, like if you can handle both doing your spare time business and doing a job, and they say, yeah, absolutely. Like sometimes they make tutorial videos themselves on how to do 3D art in their spare
Hmm.
time.
Yeah, like
And
Patreon and stuff like that.
yeah, and the same can be with this. Yeah.
Because I mean, yeah, it's great and stuff. So we've got a couple of things. Shagsy 101's, but still using colouring books, lol. Well, even colouring books, when it comes to blending and things like that, it's a good place to start.
Yeah.
It might not be line work might not be your thing, but colouring could be. And certainly getting into to blending certain areas and things like that, and making things look more realistic. Watermelon, dirty hands from pencils, loved absolutely. So yeah, there's something nice, isn't it, about sort of rolling your sleeves up and still getting, um, yeah, black marks on your hands and stuff. Um,
Yeah.
so
You're gonna get a lot. You're gonna get loads doing it with markers as well. Just a fair warning.
Funkatron's asked, how do you combat smudging?
Smudging,
Hmm.
like with the blending together.
Yeah, so I suppose if you're working on that piece now, that area, what happens if your hand goes over that and you smudge it or whatever else?
Oh no, it dries very quickly. Yeah,
Hmm.
the markers, like well, the ink. Yeah, like what you've got to worry about is basically make sure your paper is clean as possible. Yeah, like make sure there's no like rubber, rubber bits that are on it, or like
Hmm.
extremely strong like pencil marks as well on there, because the ink can make a bit of a mess with it when you're doing it. Yeah, but it can yeah, but it can just basically dry very quickly, so there's nothing to worry about that. But it's also important that you don't overdo like the same
Hmm.
area with the same Copic marker, otherwise it's gonna bleed through a little bit and leave a like a pretty nasty bleeding effect. Yeah.
Is there a certain type of paper that you use then to combat sort of bleeding through? I'm assuming
Yeah.
you don't use printer paper.
Oh no. Uh, use the I use Bristol paper as a way because it's very smooth. It feels very thick and it's very smooth for the paper to blend with. I used to try sketching paper and it's a nightmare to deal with. Yeah. So markers with like sketching papers, no. I would say. I used to do it with a printer paper as well, but it works really well with a Bristol paper. Many artists use markers, especially use it from what I've seen on Instagram.
So Funkatron's put, I didn't know they dried quickly. That's cool. And Shagsy's put, kind of off topic, but how would you feel working on CGI in films? How much different is it to what you're doing now?
I guess CGI in film. Well, all I can say is that it's kind of a long trip, at least what I feel like, to get from where I am doing props for games to already going into like CGI already. I'll take it as a compliment saying that I should get into CGI, but I feel like I'm not ready for that sort of level just yet. But you never know. It's like basically they can start. Many artists can start off something in, start at a lower position, or well, in terms of quality somewhere, and then they'll build themselves up to getting somewhere better. So you never know.
In terms of the difference between sort of CGI and games, there's always an argument in both camps. Obviously, game artists will say it's harder, and visual effects artists will say it's harder.
Yeah.
But it can be when you think about games, you've got to think about the parameters around what platform you're working with. So whether if it's top end PC, then it's a lot sort of more forgiving. If it's a lower end console, like something like the NES or the Wii or something like that, then you've really got to sort of draw back your poly count and things like that. Maybe not NES, but in terms of like PlayStation 3 or something like that, we really had to sort of make sure that all the models were clean, the texture maps were really sort of low in terms of memories and things like that. Whereas when it's pre-rendered, you can go a little bit more in depth, more detailed. You can make the models don't have to be as pristine and clean. So there is a transferable skill there when it comes to working in CGI and stuff.
Yeah.
So Watermelon's they've just checked out your artwork, and now they're shy when they say that they draw too. Your artwork's amazing and so realistic.
Oh, thank you.
So Shagsy's put practical effects in films is harder, lol. Yeah, I would say when it comes to the practical stuff, like blowing things up and doing sort of fake blood and whatever else. I mean, yeah, it's more physically demanding, absolutely.
Yeah.
So while you're doing that, I'm just trying to find your Etsy. There we go, Etsy shop. So I'm going to post this in the chat for anyone who is interested in taking a look at Dan's shop. So there is some stuff available there on Etsy. Ooh. Again, thanks for the follow, Emma Ford Art, but that has just scared the bejesus out of me. I really need to tone that down. There you go. So you may have a sale at the end of tonight. Shags is just seriously thinking of buying Venom.
Yeah.
And I suppose with again another Venom film coming out later this year, we may even be looking at another drawing from Dan. Emma Ford Art has put, haha, sorry.
I guess I can do Carnage this time, I suppose, yeah.
Yeah.
Since he's going to be in the film, I guess he's going to be the popular bit since he's a new character and well known in the comics. So, yeah, could do him.
So Buggertron's asked, what's your favourite character to draw? What have we covered that? I don't know. I can't remember. Have we covered that? Who's your favourite character to draw?
I have so many favourite characters. Yeah, it depends on who I draw. Yeah, it's mainly superhero characters. So if I had a favourite superhero character I wanted to draw, it would just basically be Batman. Yeah,
No wrong with that. Absolutely love that, man. So,
Oh yeah, who doesn't?
and then just put PS. That animation was epic, lol. Well, I've been tinkering with the old Twitch stream now for a week or so, and I just figured that seeing as we've got a dragon for the logo, then we needed fire. So, a lot more fire. So, question. I mean, I'm going to jump back into with a question in terms of what you're using there. I know we've said Copic markers,
Yeah.
but is there any particular sort of size or um, anything that's different about that particular Copic markers? Because obviously, if I went onto Amazon right now and typed in Copic marker, it's going to come up with a whole host of stuff.
Yeah.
So, what would?
Oh, sorry. So, for this size, yeah, it's just it has because the bigger it is, basically, the more it has in containing the ink. Yeah. Or I guess it doesn't matter what size you have of the pen. You also have the refills, basically the refills to basically fill up your markers again. So yeah, sometimes you still have to get new pens later because the pen may eventually be damaged, like by by using it too much, like the brush end. So yeah, but using refills is going to help. Yeah, if you run out of ink. So that's what I mainly use. It's just like instead of just like constantly like getting new markers at a time, even one's filled out, even one is emptied. So just get out the refill and just fill it in.
So, is it cheaper to do it that way to get the refills than it is to buy new?
Um, no, I would say it's still equally, but it'll I'd say the refills are about like £8, whereas getting like a pack of Copics is going to be more expensive. So it's a little bit cheaper, and plus it's also going to be it'll be a long time for you to use those refills. It takes about say three, maybe two, maybe three A3 drawings to basically use a refill. So yeah,
So, because
it's longer.
Watermelon 86 has asked about Copic markers in terms of prices in this country, in the UK, I'm assuming. Because a basic set of 12 markers costs around €150.
Yeah, I would recommend looking at Cult pens. That's usually the site I go to basically get some markers.
Okay. So is
That'll
that
usually
what is that? Did you say occult pens or cult?
Cult pens is what I use.
Cult pens.
Yeah. The markers I use is mainly what Mum gets me for Christmas every time. So
there you go.
Bit of a spoil.
Bit of a tip there. You've heard it here first. Get your mum to buy you the markers for Christmas. There you go.
Yeah, but all the money that I get from doing my drawing mainly goes to the new markers I get and the equipment. So yeah, so I can be a bit less of a spoiled brat. So
there you go. We're not affiliated with Cult Pens, but I have put the link in the chat if anyone is interested to Cult Pens.
Yeah, that's where I get them. So they'll sometimes do some dealerships and everything. And there are some. Usually, I just keep scrolling down on like Google, like of the pens you're looking for. Sometimes they can be cheap, sometimes on eBay. But yeah.
I don't know if you've moved your mic there, Dan, but we're getting a little bit of.
No.
No. Is it the one coming from your headset? There you go.
That. Yeah. Sorry.
Okay. So what's your favourite thing about working on these sketches?
Really, it's just making sure I attain the realism is just the thing that I look forward most to doing, and then to have people compliment the realism. Yeah, the complimenting is just like basically what keeps me going. Yeah.
Okay, and then I'm going to ask you the same question about the environments. What is the favourite part of the environments that you've?
Same with that as well. That it's just basically my style is just bringing out the realism. Basically, that's just what makes me want to keep going. Yeah. So, yeah, it's like whether it's environments or like traditional drawing. Basically, my style at the end of the day is, or at least trying to be that style, is basically realism. Yeah. those are the
Yeah.
things that I have in common
And that is
with them.
absolutely the way the game industry is going. The more realistic
Yeah,
the games are, the more people. Well, the more that's where it's going, isn't it? Especially with, like, obviously the PlayStation 5,
yeah,
the new Xbox,
yeah.
the sort of three, the the RTX series graphics cards and things like that are coming out now. It's all very much about.
Especially with photogrammetry as well, as that's getting brought into the light more
Mhm.
often with the realism. Yeah. Well, photogrammetry, yeah, the technique of basically making the photos you take going to make is going to bring out the realism of your model. Yeah. Well, in a way of
Mhm.
yeah, like in a way of just like making models like more complex. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's where the industry's going. Yeah.
Absolutely. So, what's your least favorite thing?
With the drawing of the
Well, let's start with drawing first.
well, start with drawing. Yeah.
Hmm.
Least favorite thing is just how will I say? Just basically, I guess it's like yeah, like I said, doing very detailed small areas. I guess is the least favorite thing with the drawings. And
Hmm.
as for like yeah, it's just like complexity. I guess it's just like I said with the like the mask is very complex design, so that's gonna take longer and it's gonna be harder, yeah, to draw like the very thin areas. And same can go with like 3D modeling as well, like
Yeah.
making sure that your models are very complex and detailed. So doing very detailed
Hmm.
areas is like the worrying part. Yeah, but that doesn't mean I should like be scared or feel ready to give
Hmm.
up. Just keep going.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Absolutely, keep going.
yeah.
So, and that same question for the environments. What's your least favorite part of creating environments?
The least part is just like I guess the deeper you're going into it, just feels like scarier. Like I guess it's like the beginning stage. You could say, for example, like say for example, I started placing in the stuff, and I say like I did a main part, like I did the barn or the church, like I said, well, for this new
Yeah.
project. And then at that stage, I'm like, okay, what am I going to build around me right now?
Mhm.
That's the scary bit. How am I going to lay it out? So
Yeah.
yeah,
So the initial planning.
yeah, and learning new things also can be scary, like your first time on doing something
Yeah, I
as
think
well. Like,
that's because there's a lot of people who sort of play games but don't realize how much work goes into them. In terms of, like, you recently started learning
yeah,
light maps,
yeah, the one I'm
and then
trying to
that's
yeah, and the one that I'm trying to learn right now is the material editor, which is the scary bit. It's like controlling the textures of your model as soon as you imported it into Unreal Engine, making sure the maps are completely linear, and making sure that the the PBR is spot on,
so PBR to
like PBR, like
to people who don't know what PBR is, physical based rendering. It's basically this a recent area of rendering that makes things look realistic. So we use things like Substance Painter to make concrete look like concrete, the way that the light reflects off it and things like that. So it is really super realistic. I know there's also Quixel as well that do mega scans of various different surfaces and textures in order to get that really high level realism. Um, okay, so in terms of, I mean, my next question is, what style of drawing do you use? But I mean, it's been blatantly obvious this entire stream. It's realism.
well, the realism.
Yeah. So, I think we've well and truly answered that question. So if anyone does have any more questions in the chat, then do feel free to fire them away. Or even if you just want to talk pop culture, or because I'm sure Dan will love to talk about the sort of stuff that he's interested in terms of film, movies, films, things like that. I'm just going through my questions. I'm literally we've covered quite a lot in this. So in terms of what you prefer to do you prefer to do these sort of close-up faces, or do you prefer to do like full body poses?
I guess full face, because it's like when you're doing like a face that's like a bit more smaller, it's going to be harder to basically capture. It's not going to be as much detailed as it is being big. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's like I've had commissions before where I had to do two people, but they were at such a distance that it was hard. And sometimes the people who've sent me like reference photos for commissions, are usually blurred out, so it makes it hard. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's easier to work from a really high resolution photograph.
Yeah, and I always like do it. It usually takes time to find like the perfect photo on or like on like Google Images. So like this photo as well, like a very good HD one, because some bits of the photo that I'm using, as soon as I zoom in, sometimes are a bit blurred and pixelated. Yeah.
Okay, so Watermelon86 has asked, how much time will you need now to finish this Sub-Zero?
I guess after this this Twitch, I'm probably gonna stop working on it a while, because of I got the assignment to do. But no, I guess like instead of playing my Xbox and that, I can just get onto it. So yeah,
giving yourself some time to play on Xbox is always good.
Because the deadline for the final one is kind of in a month's time. So it's kind of like I do enjoy drawing so much, and so as soon as I submit, I can celebrate in victory for something, like get back onto this drawing that I'm so passionate on doing. And so so in terms of time, I guess in general, like it will take me, like I say, like to do a drawing like this around under 20 hours it would probably take to capture the the realism. So that's what it was for me with my Joker drawing and my Captain America one. They're like the only A3 drawings I've done.
Right. Yeah. Okay. So how much would something like that, if someone, because one of my next questions for you is taking on commissions and things like that, and that's something, I mean, people, I often talk to students about how much to charge for work and things like that, and we talk about the artists union and things like that. So and nobody likes talking about money and stuff, but how much would something like the finished Sub-Zero, how much would you charge for something like that?
So taking into the time it takes to do it and the materials to do, I summed it all up kind of months ago. So a drawing like this would basically have to cost about say over 200. And maybe over time it can increase, but it's also at the same time try to be fair with the customers as well. But some would also say like you should try and charge higher, and which I would do. It's just like I feel like I want to like be fair with them so far, because I'm not exactly like a big big business just yet, like in terms of followers.
I think that's the difficult thing, is having that confidence to be able to charge that kind of money, isn't it? We often see artists who will sell a canvas with a square in the middle or a cube or whatever else, and they'll sell it for like £60,000 or whatever else. But how do they get to that point? How do they get to that point of going, right, I'm going to charge this much money for that? And I know I always talk to you guys about sort of putting an hourly rate on this, how much your materials cost, your paper, things like that. And I mean, this is hand-drawn piece. If someone wants a hand-drawn piece, then they'll pay for it if they want it. And to sort of to sort of, for those who don't want to spend sort of £200 on a an original piece, then there's always prints of that piece, isn't there? There's always the, like I say,
Yeah.
like if you look on the Etsy, you've got the higher end of the spectrum of the original artwork, and then you've got the prints that are considerably cheaper. So Watermelon's asked, when did you sell your first piece of artwork, and what was it?
It was from a friend who was still here who was a student for game art as well. He wanted me to do the George and Mary drawing for his mum one Christmas, and that was before did set up a business, and that's where it made me start on it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and so I got a picture of his mum, he sent me a picture of his mum holding it near a Christmas tree, and it looked really good. Like, it made me feel proud at that point. Yeah, it made me bear in mind that, yeah, maybe I can turn this into a commission business.
Absolutely, because it's
Yeah,
I mean, I know this Christmas I sort of asked you to, or I challenged you to sell some more stuff, and then we came up with the Christmas cards,
yeah,
and you got some printed, and you even got some work. Unfortunately, obviously, COVID and everything else,
yeah,
you got yourself into an art gallery over in on the we won't say the actual location, but on the sort of North Wales coast.
yeah,
Um, um, yeah, and then you could start seeing what other artists were selling their work for, and also what you were selling yours for, and also your Christmas cards. I mean, there was a huge debate within the classes about what you should be selling your Christmas cards for compared to what other people were selling their stuff for.
yeah.
And what did you actually end up selling them for? Was it a pack of 5 for £6.50 or something?
I did used to consider that, but then I decided to sell them singularly. So I sold like 10 of them in the gallery for like about £350. Yeah,
Yeah. Okay.
and I got a lot. I got a lot of them sold. Well, mainly because of my mum and her mates who love the film. So
Uh-huh.
no, it's a good thing. Yeah, it's just
Yeah,
like
yeah.
your
Word of
friends are
mouth.
helping you.
Absolutely.
It's basically spreading it about. Yeah,
Well, this is it. And then next year,
yeah,
once you start getting that word of mouth and stuff, because years ago, I was I don't know where this came from, but I was talking to someone in marketing and stuff about word of mouth and things like that, and they were saying that the likes of the big supermarkets use this sort of rule of 10 methodology, where they say if you upset one customer, they will go and tell 10 people.
yeah,
Then them 10 people will go and tell 10 of their friends and 10 of their friends. So if we flip that around and we say, if you get one really happy customer, they'll go and tell 10 of their friends. They'll tell 10 of their friends, and eventually you've got business. So
yeah.
absolutely, starting small this year and then moving that up next year and the year after. Eventually, you'd be rivaling Hallmark.
Yeah, it definitely happened when I was doing this dog drawing for someone. It spreaded, and I got like lots of like requests,
Mm-hmm.
and because she wrote a review on my page at the end of the day, and then she recommended her friends,
Mm-hmm.
and so I got lots of commissions coming my way. So it definitely works. Yeah,
Right. I mean, so we've asked all the questions about the artwork and stuff, what you've done,
yeah.
where you've done it, what your influence are, all that sort of stuff. So the next question is a bit about you in terms of what are your main interests and hobbies or influences, like TV shows, movies, comic books. What is it you're into?
Literally all those things you just said. Yeah, but I'll be specific for
Yeah, yeah,
my
absolutely.
what favorite stuff. Yeah, so pretty much just like everyone, it's just superhero films based off of graphic novels, monster movies, especially. I mean, oddly enough, I do love like old monster films as well. I got like a Blu-ray collection of black and white horror films of Universal monsters. Yeah, so I love
Mm-hmm.
those types of films. Yeah, and so I was considering that, yeah, I could do them also often as well. Like, it's my favorite characters to do, like Dracula, Frankenstein, because they do kind of fit with this whole black and white Copic marker thing I was doing. And I was even considering at one point just like the cards. that I can create like something, say like a calendar of say characters from a franchise, and I was considering doing it probably with the monsters. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So, I mean, that leads us on to sort of the coloured stuff. Do you prefer to do the sort of black and white over the colour?
Uh, Personally, yeah, but I do leave it as an option for like customers that if they wanted the colored
Mm-hmm.
one, I can do it for them. And another good thing is that with markers, they created like a layer for you. It's a base layer. So say like I use the markers and they've done all the shading for me, and I took out like colored pencils.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't have to be too much worried about the shading of the colors because the markers have done that for me. So like I've done say like a dark area,
Yeah.
and I went over with say like a red color. It's that area is still going to be dark, whereas like say another area is light because of the markers giving me the
Yeah.
shade. Yeah, so
Okay.
that's like another positive, like another benefit.
So
Yeah.
we've got. I think we're getting a bit controversial in the old chat here.
Yeah.
Shagsy's 101's put, not happy. You've only done the Val Kilmer Batman and not the best Batman, Michael Keaton.
Yeah.
I think there was a story behind that, though, wasn't there? The reason why you did Val Kilmer and not Batman, not Batman, not Michael Keaton.
Yeah. Because of yeah, I was meant to meet him at a Comic Con, but unfortunately he had to cancel out. So it was in preparation for that. But I still kept it around. But yeah, I do agree. There are better Batmans out or Batmen out there that I can do. Especially the new one coming out is a good time to basically keep drawing more of that.
Because that's going to be interesting. We've got a new Batman, haven't we, in the form of Robert Pattinson.
Yeah.
I was just looking today about the of who's playing the other cast members in terms of. I think it's Zoe Kravitz is playing playing Catwoman. You've got Colin Farrell playing Penguin, which can be interesting.
Yeah.
And it could even be that we're looking at the sort of. I mean, I think people are a bit skeptical, aren't they, about Robert Pattinson being Batman? But the people were also really skeptical about Heath Ledger. I'm like, what on earth is Heath Ledger from 10 Things I Hate About You doing playing the Joker? But he absolutely smashed it out of the water, and he was probably one of the best. He's not the best Joker, but he is what he is. I say he's on par with. I'd probably say, for me, the best Jokers are Heath Ledger and Jack Nicholson.
Yeah.
So, but I also do like Mark Hamill as well. But
Yeah.
you don't really see his face, do you?
Yeah. Mark Hamill's my top choice. Yeah.
And a Watermelon's put that you didn't draw the Heath Ledger Joker. I think you've done the Jack Nicholson one, haven't you?
No, yeah. Oh yeah, I've done the Joaquin Phoenix one. Yeah.
Oh, the Joaquin Phoenix one. Sorry, not the unfortunately, we will have to agree to disagree on whether that's a Joker or not.
Oh, okay.
Because I just didn't think that was. I don't know. I'm just not a fan. So yeah, absolutely. I think Heath Ledger was definitely one of the best Jokers there's ever been. And then Shagsy's put Jack and Mark as the best Jokers for him. Cool, really good. I think there was something about Jack Nicholson in terms of what he did for the Joker. We won't mention Jared Leto then. I take it. Although the new one in the Snyder Cut, I think he did fall foul a little bit to costume in the first one.
It's probably the tattoos that just gives away the. That just sort of gives away the
Bit. So Jack Nicholson was great when you count the time when the movie was released, but Heath Ledger was super realistic. Psychomania. That was from Watermelon. Yeah, absolutely. I think at the time of the film, 1989, with Michael Keaton, Jack Nicholson, I think you couldn't. That was the right coupling for the right time, wasn't it?
Yeah.
But Heath Ledger did do a fantastic job. Absolutely, because he was an absolute psychomaniac. Cool.
Yeah, and Yeah. What was I gonna say? Joaquin Phoenix. Yeah.
Hmm.
Even though he's not like the Joker, I thought he still did a good job. I would
Oh,
say.
I don't get me wrong, he's a phenomenal actor, and he's done an
Yeah.
absolutely brilliant job. I just didn't for me. I mean, I've been a Batman fan from since I was little, and sort of went to see the original Batman film in the cinema in 1989. So it was kind of, I just wanted it to be a little bit more. Why didn't he
Yeah.
fall into a vat of chemicals? You know, that kind of.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I agree with that.
You know, what's going on here? Where's the chemicals?
Yeah. I guess it's just like they're doing the whole
Hmm.
thing where it's like
I
as
suppose.
said in the as
Yeah.
said in the Killing Joke, it's like if he was to
Yeah.
have an origin, it would be
Hmm.
multiple. So I guess it's just
Yeah.
the new
Different.
Joke film is
Hmm.
like another depiction of that.
Yeah.
It's like with
Because.
this whole meme of like let's throw him into toxic, in this one let's throw him
Yeah.
into a toxic society sort of.
So
Yeah.
what in term? Have you read any of the new 52 stuff like Death in the Family and stuff like that?
Yeah, I've read Death in the Family.
Hmm.
I didn't finish up to volume 3. Yeah, the main new 52 stuff I was reading was Justice League Dark. Yeah,
Ah, okay.
they're good.
Yeah, I really enjoyed the new 52 stuff. I thought it was really good.
Yeah,
And then Shagsy 101 to put Tim Burton for the win.
definitely. Yeah.
Yeah. I
Oh
mean,
yeah, and rumors are that Michael Keaton's back as Batman again, but in the new Flash film, I think.
yeah, I've heard that as well. There's going to be, isn't there going to be some sort of ages or something, different ages?
I think it's like the Flash running into like different
The
parallel
past, yeah.
universes.
Ah, right,
I
okay.
think. Yeah.
So, what did you think of the? Have you watched the Snyder Cut?
Yeah, like in one go.
Yeah, 4 hours sitting. Um, I wasn't as brave as that. I did do it in 2 nights. So,
Yeah.
4 hours. There you go. So what did you think of that?
Well, definitely better than what I saw in 2017. That's for
Yeah,
sure.
yeah. I think
Yeah,
it was an improvement. I felt it was an improvement as well. I did enjoy it. It was good.
yeah. I would go as far as to say, yeah, it was very amazing, and it's a shame that they kind of ended it there because it ended on a cliffhanger. Yeah.
And Shaggy's put his head. Ben Affleck is going to play Batman again, but he's not sure if that's true.
I think they said that both Batmen are gonna be in it. It's just like
Hmm.
again running from one universe to another.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
I think there's a whole thing with DC at the moment, isn't there? It's just they just need to get
yeah,
it back on track and either decide
yeah,
which way they're going. I think the obviously being in the shadow of the MCU,
yeah,
they've had a clear plan from day one, haven't they? And they know exactly where they're going, when they're going to do it, and how they're
yeah,
going to do it, and who they're going to cast for it.
yeah,
Um, so and with that, they've got the power of Disney behind them and stuff like that. So it is kind of they do need to get some sort of order going on. I think.
yeah. True.
Um, I'm interested to see James Gunn's take on Suicide Squad though, because
Oh yeah,
he's one of them directors that just oozes humor, and he done a fantastic job with Guardians of the Galaxy. It's probably one of my all-time favorite franchises from the MCU. So
yeah.
I'd be interested to see Suicide Squad like that.
Is that your favorite MCU like film?
Yeah, for me, I think it's got to be Guardians. I think just the camaraderie between that team is great. And then Watermelon's put Ben Affleck. Ben Affleck, it's in Justice League, and so I'm assuming you put that you're not a big fan of Ben Affleck in Justice League, and then Shaggy's put Snyder Cut was good, but not as great as they made it out. So yeah, I think
Like
it's the same. Yeah,
overhyped. Yeah,
it's the same with all these huge films that come out in terms of um, they all get hyped, don't they? There's so much hype that goes on behind the scene, but up until that release date, and if it doesn't sort of meet with the audience expectations, then they're at a loss straight away. I mean, I know Avatar's just absolutely smashed Endgame off
Oh,
the top
again.
spot, yeah, in China, And I think, isn't there something? I keep hearing stuff about there being another like 5 movies of Avatar, but not actually seeing anything
Yeah, I think.
about it.
Yeah, and James Cameron's still doing it, is he?
Mm. Yeah, he's still going with it. Yeah. So I'm not sure what's
Yeah,
going on there.
yeah.
So we're coming up to about an hour and 45 minutes of you sketching the eye. So you can see there we're up to nearly 2 hours in, and we've got to this point now where we're just looking at around the eye socket and things like that. So you can see how much time and
Sorry if
detail
it's,
goes into this. No, absolutely not. This is exactly what we wanted. Dark Avenger 381 has put hey
hello.
in the chat. So hello to you. And I think at this point, I mean, like I say, we've been going now for about an hour and 45 minutes. So is this something that you would normally do, Danny? Would you normally go for this long before taking a break or anything like that? Or
I'm very well known to get distracted very easily. Like
yeah.
something on the internet's popped up and then I just
Mhm.
do it. But no, this is a record for me for like just keep going, and quite frankly, it's amazing for
So,
me.
and what would you do? What would you do in terms of I know you say you get distracted by the internet and stuff, but do you listen to music while you're drawing or anything like that?
Usually like films, like even though I don't watch them, which is ironic.
Yeah.
It's like in a way, it's say I put Netflix on and I basically, even though I don't watch it, I get that feeling that Netflix there is to keep me company. That
Yeah, it's background noise, isn't it? It's just something
yeah,
going on in the
background noise.
background. Yeah. Because I
Usually it's
know.
like a film that I've watched before. Yeah.
Because I know I've got this sort of chilled Spotify music playing in the background, and I know it's I'm not sure. I put it on to sort of fill silence and things, but I don't think it's coming through as good. I know we've had a comment saying I've had some advice saying that we should stay away from sort of the Spotify in the background and use maybe Twitch music or whatever else. So I think that's something that we will take forward on the next streams.
Yeah.
But yeah, having stuff in the background and things like that. I mean, in terms of from animation, there's a book called The Animator's Survival Guide by Richard Williams. It's the guy who directed Who Framed Roger Rabbit. And there's actually a page in there that says that's like he went up to one of the top animators at Disney and asked, do you listen to classical music when you're drawing or animating and things like that? And he screamed at him and was like, "There's not enough space in your brain to be listening to music as well and concentrating on your animation." So, I mean, yeah, it's kind of. I suppose it depends on you, doesn't it? It's whether or not you need
it's
something going on in the
podcasts.
background.
Yeah, it's podcasts for me as well. Like with music, I'm just like every time I listen to like a favorite song, I'm just very well known to just well, knowing me, I just basically keep rewinding the song, like, or keep switching to it, like so that's why I don't often listen to music when drawing, because I know I'm going to do that, just like rewind that best bit. And but podcasts is usually what I like doing, well, listen to when drawing, like Ricky Gervais podcasts or history podcasts, all that.
And now it's going to be Art Design Wales Twitch streams, surely.
Yep. That's one way of like keep myself focusing. So
nice plug there. So Watermelon86 has got another question. What do you do when you make a mistake with shading? Are Copics erasable?
No, they are not. But
No.
what I do is to at least try to hide it. Like either I keep blending it with another marker, or I just use a pencil later on, like at the end, like whether it be a white pencil or some like a pencil shade that matches with the drawing, so I can just you can easily try and blend it in and just draw it over. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's like
Watermelon's put, I'll take a razor blade and cut it off. No, I don't,
I wouldn't reckon.
No, big holes in you.
I don't know. Yeah, but the first thing to do is just like be absolutely careful to not make a mistake. That would be my first on advice.
I suppose that if you are going to use a razor blade and sort of take off the layer or whatever else, you really need to make sure that paper is good quality, thick paper.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So this is what I do in my drawing. It's just like I start from light and make it darker later on to see what shade is more comforting. So I just went from, well, these markers come with different shades. So I go from over here, C1 to C3 later on.
Okay, cool. So, like I say, I'm conscious that if anyone's got any more questions, then do put them in the chat. I'm conscious that you've been drawing now, sort of for an hour and a half or so, without a break. So, Dan, if you want to, what we can do is just go back to your the famous blue folder and go through some of the images that you've worked on that we missed out on at the beginning. So just flick through some of them, and anyone's got any questions last minute, because what we'll do is we'll start wrapping up the stream in about 10 minutes or so. So if anyone's got any last minute questions, then certainly do that, because obviously don't want to work you too hard, Dan.
That's it. It's okay. I can keep drawing on and on, basically, and just whilst talking.
So, Watermelon's asked, how many markers do you have?
Loads, to be honest, but I don't know. Sometimes I keep losing track of which one is has run out of ink. Yeah, and so really I have to keep getting them organized. But so far, I would say I lost count, but I think up to say about 30 of them, 30 of greys. But really, it depends like on which one's fresh or not.
Yeah. Okay. So that I think Watermelon just asked then about approximately. So yeah, so you got about 30 markers. So
30
but you're not sure how many you've run out. And Shag just put that one I wouldn't mind. So I don't know if that is that
Venom one.
Yeah, is that in your it'd be worth you considering putting that one on your Etsy site then.
Oh well, is that not on there?
Is it on there? I'm not sure.
I can't remember. Yeah, not all of them are on
there.
there.
No, there's only the Venom, which is the digital Photoshop painting.
Yeah, like anything's for sale, really. But it's like basically, if anyone really wants a drawing that already exists, but I haven't put it onto Etsy, you can ask me which one, and I can still sell it over.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead. If someone wanted to get in touch with you now to arrange a commission or buy a piece of artwork, how would they do that? What's the best way to get in touch with you?
It would just be probably my Facebook one. Well, because that's the one I use the most, or just in my Instagram DMs. I mean, any of the stuff I use, whether it be Etsy, Facebook, or Instagram, they're all just direct messages. They'll also have an email link to them. So basically, point is, it's just however you want. It's okay. Yeah. So this Venom one, this was when the first trailer was out, and it didn't show any Venom, symbiote stuff. So I made like a little fan art thing of just basically having the symbiote go all over to him. So it was a bit imaginary for me. Yeah. I didn't actually meet Matt Ryan because I got the day wrong. Like, he only turned up for one day in the weekend at Comic-Con he was at. So I got my half brother who was going the day after to get him to sign it for me. And he left the words in. Raise the black flag.
Dan, you just move your mic away from your mouth a bit then. We're getting there you go. It's thumping. There you go.
Raise that
okay. That's better. Yeah, it's much better.
There we go. And of course, following the trends, stuff that was coming out in terms of movies. So we've had the Tomb Raider film that came out. This was all in 2018.
There's Michael Brooker. There we go.
Oh, there he is.
And signed as well.
Yeah. All signed, yeah. And and he's in the upcoming Suicide Squad as well, isn't he?
Yeah. Absolutely.
Good friend with James Gunn as well. And I was at a panel where he was talking about Guardians, and he was with James Gunn's brother. Yeah, and it was enjoyable to watch. Yeah. he was like really friendly with the fans.
Yeah, because it was. I didn't realize it was James Gunn's brother. That was the. I can't remember his name now. That was when he was in the Guardians.
Yeah,
But he's the guy who inherits the arrow at the end, isn't he?
yeah, and
Spoilers there. Oops.
yeah, and he's also in the Suicide Squad that's coming up as well
Ah, okay.
as that
Yeah.
weasel
Yeah.
character. I don't know if you've seen that big eyeballed
Hmm.
creature. Yeah. Oh, in this one,
Sean
yeah,
Gunn. There you go. So I actually just
Sean
put it in the
Gunn. Yeah,
chat there. Yeah. And he has that photo signed as well.
yeah, and
Okay.
uh, and of course, Glass is coming out, and I decided to draw that. I was
Hmm.
kind of excited for it, and Blumhouse, they actually did, strangely enough, yeah, did contact me in the DMs, like they were the film company behind this film
Yeah.
and other stuff. So yeah, I was pretty surprised. They were saying they were offering if on their Instagram they could share my drawing. They didn't do that in the end, but you know, you still get that good feeling that when big people reach out to you. Oh yeah, same. Oh yeah, and to talk about this Thanos drawing, right underneath, yeah, you'll see on my Instagram I've done a Copic marker version where
Hmm.
it was all grey, and just
Hmm.
on top, yeah, this is what I'm talking about, like using coloured pens to basically go over the shaded areas, and this is what we get in result.
Wow, it's good, isn't it? It's you don't realize. I mean, that's something that I suppose a lot of people when they starting out doing this sort of thing, they don't realize that you're layering it up and you're putting the shadows down first, and then you put the color in over the top of it.
Yeah,
We've got Funkatron's put wow in the comments there.
thank you, Funkatron.
There
Yeah,
you
I think
go.
this is the it drawing I was talking about
Yeah,
as
yeah, the
well, isn't it?
Pennywise.
Yeah, the Pennywise one.
I think that yeah, that is the one that we've got a copy of that. I got you to print it out, didn't I? And it's actually on the wall in at the university, um, which I will sort of go and get. I'm gonna put it in my office.
Yeah, so of course we got the new one and
Hmm.
the older version, the Tim Curry, like through the balloon. It was just like an idea
Hmm.
to be clever with that. Yeah.
Did they use that in the film?
Oh, what the Tim Curry thing?
No,
Or
they did Tim Curry with the balloon, or was it this Pennywise, or did they do it with both? I can't remember.
uh, yeah, I can't remember
It's been
either.
so long. It's been so long since I watched the original. I tried to watch it again, and it hurt my brain.
Yeah. Oh yeah, and some actors from the TV show Gotham
Hmm.
kept coming to Comic Con, so like bit by bit, it was getting them all to sign it. So we've had uh, the the actor who played young Bruce Wayne, uh, Alfred, and one of them I think is a Welsh actress, Erin Richards. Yeah, if I read it correctly.
Hmm.
Yeah, the one who was the most friendly to meet was the one who played the Penguin. Yeah, he was like very communicative to his fans and
Hmm.
well, yeah, like very
So, so
enthusiastic.
couple of things. Watermelon's put I don't have a word. It's amazing. Funkatron,
Me
it's
too.
crazy good. Shagsy's put Sean Pertwee is going to Comic Con in November. You should get him to sign it.
Yeah.
Um, and Watermelon's put where is the Comic Con? And Shagsy's put Telford in the UK. Watermelon, which I'm not sure which area you're from. Where are you? Which are you from? The UK or outside the UK? Let us know, and we can certainly show you where that is. So there's the
Uh,
Spider Man from.
yeah. That was years back, 2017, I think it was. Yeah, it was just one of the it was one of the experimental drawings with markers. Yeah, well, at least with the coloured ones. And another celebrity, which is the guy who played Darth Maul and the one who voiced Kratos
Mhm.
in the video game. Yeah, he was
Mhm.
another that I met recently.
Yeah.
Well, when I say recently, like the last Comic Con I was at.
Okay. So Watermelon's put that you're from Slovakia, the middle of Europe. Cool. I mean, we're based in Wales, which is in the UK. and there's a population of about 3 million people, so we're quite small. Shagsy 101's put Christopher Judge.
Yep, that's his name.
Watermelon's put Jealous.
Yeah, so I think Kratos at this point is like favorite video game character ever. So it was real pleasure, meeting Christopher Judge. And he seemed to be mind blown with the drawing. So at that point, that's where it kind of felt special for me, at least. And of course, the Val McKilmer one, which everyone disagreed that I shouldn't be drawing.
Well, I had a comment about the Invisible Man one today when I was obviously promoting this, and it was saying just how it was really good.
Oh, thank you. Yeah. So again, well, I keep saying it all the time, but it's following the releases of films, video games, and all that. So the Invisible Man was one. And so, like I did say again, like I was a Universal Monster fan, so this was coming out, and I was getting ready to draw as soon as I can with this. And doing the hair was the hard bit. It's like when I say the bits I don't look forward to doing a drawing, it's like doing some very detailed areas in the reference photo. So the hair is an example. So sometimes I have to change certain bits with the drawing, like the hair, to make it like much more, how would you say, doable at least. Well, if I try to make the hair, for example, like very accurate as possible, it's going to take so much time, and it could be messy for me. So so it's like stuff like that worries me in a drawing, but keep going. And of course, Hellboy, Rich Ron Perlman, I couldn't tell when I met him. He was I couldn't tell when I met him that he was he didn't even know if it was a drawing.
Just thought
it's like he's acting as if it was nothing. I don't know. And as soon as I met him, showed him the drawing, he was like, "This is good music in the background, isn't it?" That's what he was like. Oddly enough.
So it's like, because I mean, unless you said, "Oh, I've drawn this," I suppose he probably thought you brought your own photograph, so you're trying to do him out of £5 or whatever else.
Maybe it's that. I can't remember if I did say, just this drawing for you. I couldn't tell. Maybe he didn't hear me proper. And so it was just like a silent handshake in the end.
I mean, I don't know. I would say, you're sort of, they're speaking to a lot of people, aren't they? Passing through. So it's a long day at Comic-Con, I suppose.
So it's like there's going to be types of celebrity. Ones there's very excited to see the fans and they actually do care about them in stuff. They're just like, oh, there's too much to deal with. I guess it's like the popular celebrities are the ones who can probably get tiresome with the amount of fans they get.
Dark Avenger 381 has put, that Hellboy one looks much like a black and white photo. Really amazing.
Oh, thank you. I was considering coloring it, but it was literally the night before the night before the Comic-Con was coming up, and all of these are the prints that I've just got installed.
I think no, it's not on your Etsy. Just checking. But you've got basically anything that you see in there. People are interested to to get prints of these, then just send down a message or DM, and I'm sure he'll add them to his Etsy. Watermelon says, wrong Batman, need to redraw. I think the general consensus, you're going to need to go away and do a complete redraw of all the Batmans. So you need a complete sort of array of Batmans. There you go. Okay. So we're back to the to the beginning there?
Well, no, it's just all the prints that I got.
These are the prints that ready to go. So if anyone is interested,
I need to find like a better quality prints because sometimes these ones kind of yellow a bit easily. But I think I bought like a new kind of paper which hopefully does better. But I'm in contact like a printing company not far from where I'm at, and they do like and they usually do the prints for me. Like especially the A3 one since I've got an A3 printer at home.
Yeah.
So they're the ones
Make
who
sure
did the
they're high
cards.
quality.
Yeah.
Make sure you're getting the highest possible quality.
Yeah.
Shagsy 101's but does it come with bat nips? I'm not sure if I should have asked that question, but yeah, I think that was that weird sort of bat suit that they made, wasn't it? So
Yeah, true. Yeah, that's everything. Yeah.
very
Yeah,
good.
for the bat nips. No, they're kind of out of the picture. Like
Yeah, just below
that was literally on my mind. Like
Mm-hmm.
as soon as I was looking for a picture to do, Valken was Batman. Like, make sure people don't see the nipples. That's going to be a weird area to draw. Yeah.
So, okay, cool. So we've come up to about 2 hours now. So I think what we're going to start doing now is wrapping it up. So if there's any last minute questions, then certainly fire them into the chat. Dan, it's been an absolute pleasure talking to you tonight. We have got about 11 people or 10 people watching us at the moment, so we could try a raid if anyone's interested in that. I'm not sure. It's not something that I've done yet, so it could go horribly wrong. But I'll put the thanks for watching screen on in a second, and then we will try and have a go at that, and just to see if we can do that. So if anyone does have any suggestions of who we should go raid, then certainly Dark Avengers put raid. So 18 hours left, but we see how the progress is going. So yeah, I think Dan, will you be posting this on your Instagram?
Not anytime soon, if I'm to be absolutely honest. Yeah.
Okay.
But I think what I'll do is like post work in progresses like in the next few weeks. Yeah, I'm trying to get this. I'm literally sinking my time into doing this World War II environment for my assignment, so I can. So even if I sometimes get onto the drawing, it's like I go, oh, I think I got to be doing the environment thing. Yeah, some bits to catch up on that, but yeah, I think when May comes around the corner, I'll definitely be hopping onto this and getting it all done. I think that's when the film releases.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
point,
absolutely.
So
That's the drop it just before the film comes out.
Yeah. So if I want to do it faster, I guess I need to stop playing my Xbox and just keep going.
Well, you do. I mean, work-life balance is one of them things that you do need. So and the thing is, it is something that obviously inspires you as well. So keep playing, keep sort of doing what it is you do. So I'm currently now scrolling through to see if we've got someone on a similar feed. So Watermelon's put, I really enjoyed this stream. Thank you very much for that. We'd really appreciate it. We are really new to this, so we do appreciate everyone's support and things like that. Emma Ford Art has put, great stream, amazing work, Dan. Well, there's a plug. So Emma Ford Art is going to be next week's next Monday live stream. So hopefully you'll tune in for that as well. That'll be about 6:30 again on Monday.
Looking forward to it.
And then certainly get your questions ready. Let me just see what we've got going on here. What I'm going to do is try and support someone who's not got loads of viewers at the moment. So if anyone does, 6:30 p.m. GMT Watermelon. Yeah, that is. So I'm not sure. Slovakia, is that ahead or behind? Is that? I think it's ahead, isn't it? Is it an hour, 2 hours? An hour. Okay. So let me just turn that off. I have got someone who's painting Spider-Man at the moment, so we will. Let me just see if I can grab hold of his username. And what I'll do is I will throw the thanks for watching. So Dan, once again, thank you very much for today. It's been a real pleasure talking to you. This stream will be available for people to watch. I'll also be downloading it and sharing it with the other students and things like that as well. Don't forget, if you do want to buy anything off Dan, or if you do, certainly go and give him a follow on Instagram and send him a DM in order to purchase anything that you've seen tonight. Dark Avenger, but thanks, Dan.
Thank you, Dark Avenger.
And I'll say thank you very much one more time before we hit the end screen. And then I will, if you do want to follow the raid, and I think what we need to come up with is what I've noticed people doing is when we do hit the other person's stream, is that we randomly put a word in there. So, what word do you want to pick, Dan? Give us a random word.
Zero.
Sub-Zero.
Yeah,
there you go.
There
so as soon as you hit the other stream on the raid, then certainly hit the words. Just type in the word Sub-Zero. Okay. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Steve.